Hello everyone. Previously we had discussed about the custom iterables and generators. Today we'll be discussing about the JavaScript type checking and type of quirks. Right. So let's see the same thing and let's try to implement uh, the type. Let's try to see the same thing with the example. Right. So JavaScript's type of operator basically it provides a way to check variable types. Again, I'm telling this is simple. JavaScript's type of operator it provides a way to check variable types, but has some quirks. When I say it has some quirks, I'm speaking of the um, treating null as an object and not distinguishing arrays from the objects, right? These are some of the quirks. If I give type of null in JavaScript, it has to give the output object. It gives the output object basically. That is one of the quirks. And also it doesn't distinguish arrays from the objects, right? So that is what we are speaking of here. Let's see the same thing using the example. Initially, let's see basic type of usage, and next we will try to see the example mm, distinguishing arrays and objects, right? So initially let's see basic type of usage. I'll just quickly come here. Let me log and let me give here type of 42. This is of the type number. We have to get number, and let me again give console log of type of null. Let me consider here. So for the first one we have to get the number, right? 42 is of type number, so we have to get the output number. And the second one, null, as I've said while discussing initially. So in the JavaScript, the type of null will be considered as an object. It is one of the quirk. Also, I have mentioned that it will not distinguish arrays from the objects, right? Let's try running the code. So here you can clearly see this is of the type number 42, and the type of null this is considering as an object, right? So I'll quickly explain what I've done here. So type of basically this correctly identifies 42 as a number, as you can see the output, right? So the first line I'm speaking of. Second line, due to the historical quirk. So as we had discussed earlier, due to the historical quirk, type of null returns object instead of null. Type of null is not null and it is object because of the historical quirk. Type of null returns object instead of the null, right? So next let's see the example 2, nothing but distinguishing arrays from the objects. I'll quickly come here. Let me give here, let's assign the ARR or anything to array to empty array, and also let's assign this one to empty object obj. So let's try to log. I'll just give here console log of array dot is array, right? Of let's pass this one array ARR. So let me copy the same thing and make the necessary changes, right? I'll just consider one more. I'll just log one more time here. Here it will be same thing. Instead of the array, I'll just pass obj that we have assigned to empty object here, right? So what output that we need to get here, basically if you are trying to expect the boolean value, same thing here, for basically true, here for this one, no, we will not get true, instead we will get false, right? So let's try to run the code here. So initially we are getting true, and this one we are getting false. Why? Basically I'll quickly explain what I've done here. So array dot is array, so what here I'm using here, this explicitly checks if the variable is an array or not. This one is checking explicitly whether this is an array or not. This basically differentiates arrays from the regular objects, right? So array dot is array is used to find explicitly if a variable is an array or not. It differentiates the arrays from the regular objects. And also while defining initially, while explaining initially, sorry. So I have said JavaScript has some quirks such as treating null as an object, and also it doesn't distinguish arrays from the objects by default, right? So here you can make use of array.isFrom. So this is one of the methods, right? So here you can clearly see we are getting the boolean value true, as this is an array. This checks whether this is an array, right? This has to be true. So here if you are expecting true, this is false, because this is not an array, as we are making use of isArray of object. So this has to give us false. Basically we are getting false because this is not an array, this is an object, right? So when we make use of, by default JavaScript doesn't recognize that, but if we make use of isArray of object, then array.isArray of object, then we will get the boolean value false, right? I hope the concept of distinguishing arrays and objects, and also basic type of usage you have seen, this is completely clear. I mean, the concept of JavaScript type checking and type of quirks is completely clear. Next, we will be discussing about advanced promises patterns such as chaining, parallel execution, right? We'll see the same thing with the example. For now, this is it. Thanks for watching, guys.